student buddy stalker. Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. This is Goosebumps Whole Boy 1992, back with another Goosebumps book review. And today I'm going to be reviewing the 15th book in the series 2000 series. And well, before we do so, I would like to say a few words about the front cover, as I usually like to do. So it seems that this is a classroom because there's that desk and that chair, but it's not very clear because it seems to be a very dark room, dimly lit, and with some papers stacked to the walls. But yes, it's very difficult to say what is this, whether it's the janitor's closet or an actual classroom because of the lack of light and the lack of, other students, you might say. And we have that very creepy looking student there with his skin seems to be falling apart. It's very weird. It's very scary looking. And this stare of those eyes is a little unsettling. And you have his hair that is basically standing on end, right? And it's red hair. It's a redhead, you know, character. And you have some kind of yellowish light that seems to be proceeding from behind him, and it's glowing there. It's bathing them in that, very ominous glow. And then it is, reflected by the title of the series, Goosebumps in yellow color as well. But yeah, it's a pretty good thing. And it seems to that they have just drawn some kind of a sketch of a skull, right? As you can tell from the notepad and the pencil that they're holding, basically. So, what is this story about? So, needless to say that the front cover doesn't have a lot to do with the book. As a matter of fact, I don't believe it has anything to do with the book. I don't think it is in the story. I think it's just one of those eye-catching front cover, which I believe is fine, is good, right? But at the same time, yes, the story is very different from what the front cover seems to suggest. So, what is this book about? So, this book is about basically a young boy named Emery, right? Sorry, is that Emery? I'm not so sure about that. The King of Horror. Yeah, so basically, we have this very famous director. His name is Emery, right? And well, he's a director, needless to say, and his peers have nicknamed him the King of Horror, right? And as I'm reading here from goosebumps.fandom.com, I'm not reading, I'm just looking at it. So basically, we have our main character. His name is Emery, and he happens to be Jake Bannion's son. And basically, he's the King of Horror. He's that very famous director who makes scary movies, and he's one of the scariest, person on the face of the planet, right? Within the story, kind of like Stephen King, right? So he makes these movies, he directs these movies, and they're really scary, right? So basically, everybody, kind of looks up to him as this icon in horror. But what he loves to do most of the time is to scare his son witless, right? So that's not very nice. And he always finds ways to scare Emery, and he basically grows tired of it, and he wants payback, right? So this is basically the main plot of the story. I'm dumbing it down a little bit. I apologize for that. It's just I wanna get this review, as how could I say? I wanna put it in simple terms, right? So that I don't spoil anything. But it's basically pretty much like a revenge kind of storyline where basically the young kid, who granted has a lot of fun because he gets to go to his father to, movie studios. He can go watch them for free. So it has a lot of perks, you might say. There are a lot of perks to being the son of a horror movie director, but at the same time, his life is not all that cracked up. It's all that cracked up it seems to be. right? Because of the fact that his father keeps on, trying to scare his son. So that's not very nice, right? So basically, he gets embarrassed several times throughout the story. So he decides to, at some point, get payback, get even with him, right? So this is basically it for the story, right? It's a little bit like Are You Terrified Yet, in a way, and a little bit like You Can't Scare Me. It's kind of, it has some similar elements to it. And I forgot about Emery's friends. I believe he has a few friends, right? One of them being, Chelsea. I believe her name is Chelsea, right? And basically, yes, that's gonna be pretty cool because they're gonna be pretty tight throughout the story, and that's a pretty good book. That's a pretty good book. It reads pretty easily. It gets very scary at some point. In some parts of the book, it's one of those very simple yet scary stories, right? It's not really about you know monsters in this book, but it's rather about this whole concept of fear, right? That is basically kind of the main drive of the story of the book. But I thought it was pretty good in my opinion. I really enjoyed this book. I know many people disliked Scream School and they don't believe that it is a good Goosebumps book, but I beg to disagree. I think the story is pretty good. The characters are interesting. It gets really scary. There's a scene involving snakes, right? There's yeah, there are a lot of great scenes in there. There's that fog at some in some scenes, right? That swirling fog, that is all around the characters. It's really ominous. It's an ominous book with a great build up, I believe. It has such a great, drive to it, right? It is one of those books that just keeps getting suspenseful and more suspenseful as you go on, and you can't wait to see where this is going, right? What is it building up to? What's gonna happen in this story, right? So I thought that was a pretty good book. And again, the ending is pretty unsettling, especially the final twist, but I let you find out for yourself. There's a big discoveries ahead of you, in this story. It's the stories that keep on giving and giving. And as you go on, you're going to find new things. You're going to find out, a lot of new things, right? So if I were to rate this book on a scale from 1 to 10, probably give it an 8 out of 10. It is a pretty good book. It reads easily. It is fun. It is interesting. It is, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I didn't mention it, but it's loads of fun, especially with the whole, kind of, this whole movie, movie star concept, extras, and you have, yeah, basically you have a girl named Mindy in there. I didn't mention it, but I'm seeing it here. Yeah, so you have that ghost stories also that is a little bit kind of, at the back of the story, kind of those background stories. There are ghosts involved in it. Ghost stories, I mean, there are some ghost stories. There's a pretty good story, in my opinion, a pretty good book. And there's that school, obviously, the concept of a school, abandoned school in the desert. That was pretty good. But yeah, that's not a ghost story per se, but it's more like a good story, kind of with payback, as the main drive, as I said. It is a pretty good storyline, right? Sorry about that. It is a pretty good storyline, right? So yeah, if I were to read this book on a scale from 1 to 10, I already said so, right? I keep on repeating myself. I better shut up now and put an end to this video. I'm just joking. No, but seriously, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It is a good book, not too shabby, and it's a pretty good story. So if I were to rate this book on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it an 8 out of 10 for this story, Scream School. What about you, folks? What did you think about this book? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know on the comment section down below. I would really love to hear about what you have to say about this book. And in the meantime, let me know if you have any recommendations. I have to review some horror movies, don't I? I wanted to review some scary movies for, in this month. But hopefully, yeah, I'll be able to review a few movies. So I'm going to finish Series 2000, God willing, but I'm going to take my time. I'm going to stick to one a week, if that's okay with you. So this way, we'll have it all the way to, the new year, God willing. And obviously, I want to review some other works, some other books. perhaps even some other horror movies. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what you would like me to review. I'm currently reviewing one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's called Cold Case, and it's pretty awesome. Please check them out, and if you're a fan, let me know in the comment section down below. In the meantime, folks, stay safe, goodbye, and take care. This is Goosebumps Whole Boy 92 for you, signing off.